Flight LX402 from Dubai to Zurich was right on time. The first-class cabin shimmered with quiet elegance. Wide leather seats, polished tray tables, and the scent of vanilla-scented disinfectant lingering faintly in the air. Maya Varma stood at the boarding gate with her clipboard in hand. At 5 feet 10 inches, she had a commanding yet graceful presence. Her tailored uniform hugged her slender figure tastefully. Her thick, chestnut-brown hair was pinned up in a bun, and her almond-shaped hazel eyes scanned the incoming passengers with trained attentiveness. She smiled warmly as always, welcoming the guests aboard. And then he appeared. Tall, perhaps 6 feet 1 inch, with a lean build and a neatly trimmed beard. Dressed in a charcoal blazer and dark jeans, the man glanced at Maya as he handed over his boarding pass. She noticed his eyes first, deep-set and curious, searching. There was a pause. "Good afternoon, sir," she said, her voice as crisp as the starched collar of her uniform. "Good afternoon," he replied, not rushing to look away. "You've got quite the smile." Maya was used to compliments, but this one, casually offered and laced with honesty, sparked a flicker of interest. She nodded professionally, but a trace of a smile lingered as he passed. An hour into the flight, Maya had served the welcome drinks and was making her rounds in the first-class cabin. She noticed the man again, seat 1A. He hadn't requested anything so far but was quietly flipping through an in-flight magazine. As she passed, he looked up. "Excuse me," he said, signaling gently with his hand. "Could I get a glass of white wine? And maybe a recommendation from someone who looks like they know taste." He smirked. "Sauvignon Blanc from Marlborough. Crisp, elegant, like you seem to appreciate." He chuckled. "And like the woman recommending it." Maya arched one eyebrow, maintaining her poise. "I'll let you be the judge of that, sir." The exchange was brief, but the air around them felt warmer. Over the next few hours he called her 3 more times. First for a blanket, then for a meal suggestion, and finally, perhaps intentionally, for a magazine that was already in the rack beside him. Each time he found a new way to compliment her, never crossing the line, never vulgar, just persistent. "You have the kind of presence that makes flying feel grounded," he said once, offering a grateful smile as she handed him his meal. "You use words like a poet," she said, amused but not cold. He introduced himself subtly. "I'm Ariv, by the way. From Mumbai. Consultant." She nodded, lips pursed in a private smile. "Maya." Their names hung in the air a second longer than necessary. By now, Maya found herself unusually attentive towards seat 1A. She'd trained herself to remain neutral, to see all passengers equally. But there was something about Ariv's gaze. He didn't ogle. He admired. Felt different. She noticed he stared sometimes when he thought she wasn't looking, and she did the same. Her eyes often found his across the aisle as she passed. When he laughed at a movie, she found herself smiling too. During a lull in the service, she stood near the galley sipping water when he came to stretch. "Do air hostesses ever get tired of people falling for them midair?" he asked, arms folded, casual. She didn't flinch. "Do passengers ever get tired of thinking they're the first one to try?" "Touché," he grinned. "But I meant it genuinely." She tilted her head, playful now. "What makes you think I haven't already noticed?" He was speechless for a second. Then, with a slow smile, "I like honesty. And boldness." "Then you'll enjoy this flight," she replied, brushing past him to get back to work. Dinner was served, the lights were dimmed, and the cabin began to quieten. Few passengers were asleep. Maya finished her tasks and walked back toward the galley when she saw him standing again, stretching. "You again," she teased. "Restless flyer. Restless mind, maybe. Can't seem to focus with certain distractions on board." She leaned against the side wall, arms crossed. "You think charm will get you my number?" "No," he said. "But I think honesty might." She didn't reply immediately. She looked at him carefully, scanning past the playful surface. "You're not just flirting, are you? Would it matter if I was?" It would, she said softly. Flirting ends when the plane lands. And something more, he asked. Something more waits, she replied cryptically. As the aircraft began its descent into Zurich, Maya's heart beat faster, not from altitude but anticipation. Her job was nearly done, but she couldn't shake the presence of Arif. He had invaded the personal boundary she kept guarded, and she had let him. As she passed out landing cards, he whispered, "I'll wait after the gate, just to see if altitude was messing with my senses." She arched an eyebrow. "And if it wasn't, then I hope I'll see you again." Grounded. The aircraft touched down. People applauded. Bags were collected. First-class passengers disembarked first. Arif stood, hesitating just enough to meet her eyes one last time. "Goodbye, Maya," he said, meaning every syllable. She smiled, professional again, hiding the tug in her chest. "Goodbye, Mr. Consultant." He left. She worked another 30 minutes post-landing, clearing trays, checking seat pockets, restocking. Her heart raced in the silence of the empty plane. And then she made a decision. In the terminal, he waited, leaning against a pillar. Other passengers rushed past, meeting family or checking their phones. But Arif stood still and quiet, searching for the face that had captivated him midair. And then she appeared. Still in uniform, hair still up, a black coat thrown over her shoulders. She walked up to him without hesitation. "Did you wait for closure or curiosity?" she asked. "Neither," he said. "Hope." She smiled and handed him a folded napkin. "I'm not supposed to do this," she whispered. He opened it. Name. Her number. A small heart drawn beside it. Meh. He looked up, stunned, grateful. "You just made the ground feel higher than the sky." She chuckled, turning to walk away. "Then try not to fall too fast." They met again. In a cafe in Mumbai during her layover. The city was loud, unlike the silence of altitude, but the chemistry remained the same. Intense, curious, real. Conversations turned into dinners, dinners into late-night calls, and calls into something neither of them had words for yet. Maya, the ever-disciplined, rule-bound professional, found herself wondering about a future where flying wasn't her only escape. And Arif. He was already planning trips to cities she frequented. Because sometimes love doesn't come crashing in. It flies in at 35,000 feet.